Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It would be an understatement to say that this year has been long and unusual. Months after the strike ended, the writers' strike content began airing around this time last year. Because of Days of Our Lives' unusual shooting schedule, it continued until beyond Memorial Day. That was 6 months of content that fluctuated significantly, for those who counted. When the material first started, I recall being surprisingly happy because it seemed like we were getting more character beats rather than plot elements. However, things changed at some point. Perhaps it has to do with the strange snowstorm that had struck the Horton cottage and resulted in a radioactive Paulina. Perhaps it was the hurried pregnancy of Johnny and Chanel. Paulina puts an arm around Chanel's waist when she is standing in the Horton cabin. Chanel fits tightly in her checkered coat. Paulina is dressed in a crimson fur coat and a big fur cap. I was ecstatic with what we were getting by the time the show's writers came back to put Constantine to death. And getting to know Xander's mother? I adored Serena Scott Thomas, man. After she framed Brady and mowed down Sarah, it appeared that Days of Our Lives did everything in its power to make Fiona unpopular. However, everyone in the plot gave some excellent performances before Fiona left. Then there is the soul and body. That merely appeared to be an excuse to combine a number of characters that the show was unable to develop into a single plot point. Instead of being a sporadic outburst of humor, it took over week after week and served as a platform for the writers to discuss their behind-the-scenes antics. Positively, it has somehow increased my admiration for Alex. The trade-off is that it makes me dislike Johnny more. After teasing Abigail's return and claiming it was a fake-out, the story concluded with additional teasing regarding Abby's continued existence. Almost everything was taken over by Clyde. Clyde was the cause of every negative event. Do you recall the fire that destroyed the Horton house? Yes, we also don't do it very often. However, it seems like Clyde was even in charge of that. We believe. Does it make a difference? Days spent behind the scenes. Billy Flynn is seen in the Paris Chad Abigail wedding photo, pointing at Annalyn McCord and giggling while appearing frightened. Nobody seems to care who started the fire. The house was fixed in record time, and the time capsule they discovered used only as a story device to introduce Doug 3. Even though it was initially quite touching to finally meet the member of Doug's family who had disappeared decades ago, he still has a ways to go before people will accept him. We can only hope that new characters, particularly those who are heritage characters, won't be presented in a way that makes us despise them right away in the upcoming year. Speaking of characters we're supposed to despise, how about 2025 brings us some fresh antagonists? Or elderly ones that haven't been touched in a long time? We're glad that Orpheus and Clyde appear to be getting some much-needed break, as they seem to have dominated the villain genre in recent years. Although I am aware that John would pass away, I also understand that they wanted to leave open the prospect of a comeback in the event that Drake Hodgson recovered. They most likely won't locate a body because of this. I thus hope that they eventually locate John's body and are able to properly bury him. It may resemble the heartwarming burial of Abigail in the time capsule, but none of us think she is truly dead at this point. For John, a second, possibly more private funeral would allow us to grieve him fully. John holds Brady's hand in the other and clasps Paul's shoulder in the hospital examination room. The spring is when the new writer's work should begin. Some people have already praised the shift, such as Susan Seaforth Hay and Deidre Hall, who informed us that Body and Soul will soon be discontinued, that the show's outrageous antics will be curbed, and that the new writers are returning to the show's original roots. After sounding as though he would never return under the old government, Theo Panglis is back and seems excited about the new stuff. And that's what I really want. Family and romance have always been at the center of Salem's life, despite the fact that it has always been a little wilder than other soap opera cities. Regarding the second section, kindly allow couples to develop and mature over the course of the upcoming year before dividing them. People in Salem get together and split up so quickly that I feel like my brain is spinning all the time. Although things have been a little better lately, this show used to produce amazing couples, and it has the potential to do so once more. There is a lot to look forward to as the show celebrates its 60th anniversary next year. Bo and Hope are finally having a nice reunion, Belle and Sean are back, Sammy is coming back, and it appears like EJ's filming will uncover a lot of the show's troubled past. Despite the ups and downs of the previous year, I am really thrilled about the soap opera's future. Therefore, let's hope that 2025 brings us a days of our lives that we can all enjoy. On New Year's Eve, the DiMera home appears to be the place to be. JJ asks Gabby if she would want to join him in celebrating the new year. We're confident that she won't reject him. Philip and Stephanie, as well as JJ and Gabby, kiss each other on New Year's Day. When Alex sees them, he appears unhappy. Belle and Jada, meanwhile, get down with their evil selves. Not Rafe snorts and chuckles as an irritated EJ asks Gabby who invited her to the party. Oh, and when the real Rafe encounters his doppelganger Arnold, he is taken aback. Which Rafe is going to win? Joy is grieving over her one-night stand when Chanel finds her in a bedroom with Johnny. Chanel insists on knowing the details of Joy's marriage to her spouse. Chanel informs Johnny that she needs every graphic detail, so it seems like she's filled in. It seems that Alex and Joy choose to make the lie that they slept together a reality when Philip and Stephanie end up in bed together. Or hold on, perhaps that is merely a body and soul scene? Holly finds out Sophia is pregnant when she gets caught with Tate. Holly will most likely be able to identify the father on her own. Tate assures Holly that their relationship need not alter as a result of this. Her response? Are you serious? Sophia's mother then shows up and announces that not only is Sophia expecting a child, but she and Tate will raise it together. Putting that technicality aside for the moment, let's go back in time and remember the events leading up to her birth. Despite their difficult circumstances, Bo and Hope were making an effort to keep their romance going. A significant secret was disclosed just as she was beginning to come to terms with his long-lost daughter Chelsea, with Billy. Chelsea had been operating the vehicle that killed their son Zach in a hit-and-run on New Year's Eve in 2005. Hope was unable to move past the destruction and they split up after learning that Bo had let Chelsea to use the car that evening. After Hope found out she was pregnant and a paternity test revealed Patrick Lockhart was the father, Bo experienced even more grief. In a surprising turn of events, though, Bo, who was looking into Patrick, discovered him in a warehouse with Hope, who was in labor and ultimately assisted his fancy face in giving birth to a girl. At that point, Patrick came clean, admitting that he had paid a doctor to produce phony paternity tests. The baby's father was Bo. This is where the plot got a little playful. They got back together when Patrick was arrested, and for nearly 2 weeks before naming their daughter Sierra Alice Brady, Bo dubbed her Doodlebug. However, did you know that Doodlebug's transformation into Sierra was the result of fan activity? The soap opera allowed viewers to vote on Hope's name at the start of the month leading up to her delivery, knowing she was expecting a girl. Following the process of selecting names, the last options were Cassidy, Darcy, Rory, Bridget, and Sierra. Suddenly, the character of Sierra was born.